that's like one of those things that you just kind of, that's more important, I think, than being good at what you're doing.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Portable Trevor here, and today we have a very special guest. She's an audio producer for a huge TV show called AEW. You guys may have heard of it. Please welcome Chrissy McConville. What's up?
Howdy. Doing
Howdy.
well. Yeah.
And you are in Nashville right now, correct?
Yes, sir. Music City.
Music City. And that sounds perfect because you're an audio producer.
Yeah. Not much music, though.
Not much music? Do you ever do music?
No, not really. Like, I mean, like, I can edit music. Like, if I need to, like, take something and chunk it together, or, like, I have one song and it needs to sound like this song, I can do that. But it just, I can't really record it very well. Yeah.
I gotcha.
It's a secret.
So, I feel like you're, and I could be wrong, you can totally correct me. I feel like you're in a rare breed because in, like, filmmaking world, I've met maybe two people that are like, audio is my passion. It's what I want to do for the rest of my life. But everybody else are like, yeah, I want to be a director. I want to be a cinematographer. So I'm very curious, like, what got you to be like, audio is what I want to do?
Yeah, I feel like my earliest memory of that was like, and please don't anyone judge me for this, because this is like the dumbest thing I've ever said out loud. And like, I only tell this to a few select people, but you know, I'm feeling ballsy today. Yeah. I remember watching, I think it's literally like, I don't even know what the movie's called. I think it's The Last Dark Knight Rises. Is that the last one?
Yeah.
Okay, I just remember hearing that little bat car like doing its thing, and it was like, and it was just making all these crazy sounds, and I was like,
yeah, it's awesome.
That's pretty cool. Like I remember being interested in like how that happened, but not really. Like that was in high school. Like it was, you know, I grew up a classically trained musician, so I wanted to go to school for piano or viola, you know, because that's what I, you know, spent my entire life doing up to that point. So I was like, I can't let this go to waste. I must become a classical violist or whatever. And I like grew up like real aggressive, like drive to do stuff. Like watching anime now definitely gives me like this really weird PTSD, and I'm like, I get you. I understand why you need to be the very best, Ash. Like, so from there I went to school for the only college that I actually applied to for music production instead of like actual music performance, and learned real quick that I'm very bad at hearing drums. I'm just so bad at it. Like it was like one of those things where I was like, I just couldn't figure it out. I could record quartets, like trombones, oboes, like a piano at the back of the room, like anything that wasn't a drum I could do great with, but like, drums, that was spooky town. I just couldn't figure it out. And
that's fascinating. I feel like even if you're just a guitarist, I feel like in bands, they just kind of get drums. They're like, all right, this is how we stay on beat. So, but I'm guessing you're talking about more on like a deeper level.
It's like recording it. Like if you have a band in a room, and then you have the drums here, and the guitars in the other room, and the guitars in the other room, and then
I got you.
Yeah, then you record that, and then bring the vocalist in. And that's how you record music. And I just couldn't. Like all my projects and everything, all my professors were like, "Do you like need help?" I'm like, "Yes, but you're not going to be able to fix me." It was truly one of those things that was just so gone. And my freshman year, I made a few close friends that were all more film side of things, and I had never even attempted to delve into that world. And there's this thing at my college where I went, Ohio University, shout out Athens, called the 48-hour shootout. That was a very big event within the media school where I went, and we decided to form a group, and they were like, you can compose the music, or like you can do the post sound or whatever. And I'm like, what's post sound? I don't know what that is. And they basically got recruited by other 48-hour teams. It was like a big deal. They got recruited by these other teams, and then basically I was left alone, but I was like, I really want to do this. And a guy walked in. I was the person, I worked at the media school. I was the person who collected the forms so that you could apply to be in the shootout. And the last guy that came in to apply for it, like, I was like, fuck all y'all. I'm just whatever. And I asked the guy, like, do you need anyone else on your team? And he was like, sure. And then we like got second place in the shootout. Like it was,
Wow.
yeah. And I got to hold a boom pole and I understood what a Zoom was and like how to record stuff and how interference works with like phones and, you know, to turn off the air conditioner and unplug the fridge and like all this stuff that you would never think of, but you were in control of the appliances. So that was neat. There was a lot of weird, enticing things about it, but like kind of from there, I knew that I wanted to do something with like sound to picture. So I just kind of dove in.
It's so cool. Like I mean, I'll be honest, like in my film journey, it feels like the last thing anybody is like, I want to do that is audio. So what fascinates you about audio?
There's so many things that you can do and play with it. Like, I mean, like some of the stuff specifically in AEW that I've done has been like, oh, I remember it was the round one promos for, I think it was not Double or Nothing. Full Gear. It was Full Gear, and me and my boss, Kevin Sullivan, best boss in the world, decided that we wanted to put a rattlesnake in every single promo, but like make it like sound like it was supposed to be there. So Full Gear, all of the elements for it were literally mechanical. So it was like, you know, I got the graphic. When I get the graphics, there's no sound to it. I mean, like you just have a graphic. So you're like, what does this sound like? And you just get to like make it. Like there's nothing, and then you just get to make it, and that's so cool. So I took a rattlesnake, pitched it down, put it on top of like a drone thing, so it kind of sounded like a eat creaky, rather than like a snake. So
I want to hear that now.
Oh yeah, you can go look it up on YouTube. It's at like the very end. Yeah, there's all kinds of graphics that have rattlesnakes on them. I also put cats on things a lot. There was an old animated show that I worked on where this guy had a turtle and he was like shoving it against the ceiling to try and break through a cave. It was called Golan the Insatiable. It's like a Fox weird adult animation. It was just odd. But he was trying to break through this cave, and me and one of the producers decided it would be funny if every time he hit the turtle, it would make the turtle sex noise. Yeah, so that's in there quite a bit. It's kind of one of those things where it's just like, you just get to make anything out of anything. And I've never really, like, I appreciate picture. I appreciate, like, I can watch The Lighthouse all day and like I know that it's really pretty and it's cool looking, but you will never be able to tell me that like the sound isn't what makes that movie. Like it's incredible. So and same with all horror. I've always grown up in like horror. Like I just love anything horror, thriller. Like that's all my favorite stuff. So
like horror is like 90% sound effects.
Exactly. You know, yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it's like you would almost rather turn off the sound than the TV, like the picture. You know, it does make you feel some type of way.
Yeah, so. I remember the first time, because like I've played with audio before. I'm still that's definitely one of my weaker points as a filmmaker. But I remember I made this like stupid sketch one time where basically me and my buddy Heath, we were like shooting a bunch of like clip art things in the air. They were like spinning everywhere. Like I animated those like terribly. That was the purpose and the joke. And he was like shooting them with the shotgun and everything. And then there's like the final boss, and he shoots him and he finishes him off. And I was like, this doesn't feel right here. So then I took in Bowser from Mario, where he's like growling, and I like pitched that down. So he like shoots the shotgun. I play this shotgun sound effect, and then he like turns around, and it just like fits so perfectly, like pitching that down, just having that like little bit of growl. I was like, exactly. I'm an audio engineer. And then I was like, I am not an audio engineer.
I think truly also one of the most gratifying moments in sound is doing repair. Oh my God, there's nothing in the, okay, so I should preface this, like I am one of those people that likes to watch like power washing TikToks and like the weird, oddly satisfying things. Like I'm nowhere near as bad as Sully, our boss. Oh my God, he's crazy town. He like literally he likes to watch like back cracking videos, and then he thinks he's a chiropractor, so he cracks my back. It's a whole anyway.
By the way, those are not good for you. Those
What
those
the
chiropractic videos,
yeah,
like
see,
90% of them are not good for you. Those
I
are
need to tell
not.
him that because
Yeah,
he's obsessed. He loves the egos of the guys, how they do it, and then they're like walk away like I did it. Like
mic
he just
drop.
yeah, like he loves that. Oh God, I gotta tell him tomorrow.
I saw
So
one
yeah,
where a guy like he's got like a rope and he's got it around or something. He's got it around
that's
this
the
girl's
shit he
neck.
loves. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
pulling it, and then I read some article from like a real chiropractor. He was like, "Hey, don't do this, especially if you're a normal person and you've never studied this."
yeah, crazy. Like
But
truly.
anyway, what were you saying? Like just like you get satisfaction out
Oh
of the
yeah.
smallest thing.
Okay. So like noise repair is something else. So like I mean a lot of people, especially starting out,
Mm.
don't really remember to turn off air conditioners or, you know, uh anything that makes a buzz like even the lights in some like of the promos that we've been shooting, like they make a sound, so I have
Mm.
to take that out, and most of the time it works. There's the occasional time where it's like this is just not, like I can't do anything with it. um
What's the most difficult challenge you've had with that so far? Have you ever been given audio and you just like slammed your head against the table? You were like, "There, this is beyond repair."
that's every day, mama, every
Every
single
day.
day. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, seriously, especially working in wrestling because these people don't think
Mhm.
about that stuff. Um, like the most recent one that I can think of where I was like, it worked was there was a Dark Order promo where Brody was outside and he was telling the two guys that they were dressed badly and the other guy that he was dressed really well, and that
Mhm.
he was like, I have a job for you because you're dressed well. And he gets out of this car and like whatever, and they're next to a generator, literally. They're
Oh my
literally
god.
next to a generator. So I was like, what, why don't you think about this? Like, but also whatever, it probably looked good, and they were like, didn't have time, it just makes sense. So, and they know that I can usually fix it, so it's a blessing and a curse having me, truly. uh but so whenever they went inside, it was like there was a really bad moment where they were walking past it and he said, I have a job for you, as they were walking past it. And I was like, I can do this, I can do this. Oh, also another thing that comes to mind, I could literally talk about this for the rest of the entire time. But
I wouldn't mind it. They're probably fantastic stories.
yeah, basically, there's a plugin called Isotope RX. Ooh,
Mhm.
best thing ever invented ever. You can kind of like run it through it. So it's like, I don't put it necessarily on the track because it kind of hogs up my CPU. But basically, I take it, send it to a program called Isotope RX. And in that case, I put a D-hum on it, which you can kind of like draw where you want it. So like, here's the waveform, and their voices are like right here. The hum's like right here, but also like somewhere in here too. So you kind of have to like make sure you're not getting rid of their voice by taking out the hum.
Mhm.
Which Isotope is really good at helping you. It's
So
like,
I'm guessing
don't
it's
do
not a
that.
magic wand. It's
It can
like
be
it's
sometimes.
not a button. Oh, that's cool.
It can be. So, for example, like the past few shows of AEW have been were recorded in like previously,
Mhm.
and sometimes we had to revoice things because somebody didn't like what Tony or Jericho said, and Jericho is very loud. He yells like crazy. He'll literally have his microphone and he's like, Jesus, like, yeah, like peaky. I'm sure I did there. And just basically, there's a thing called declip where I can just put it in there and press the sound button. And then I move, there's like little, I'm not sure what you call them, bars like this that show you where it clips. So then you take it. So here's the clipped audio, and then you just take it like this, and then it's magically fixed. And that's
That's
it.
insane. I
Yeah.
think I saw a Walking Dead promo or something like that. I think that was the program they were using. And there's like a scene where like Rick and the gang are like walking through a forest and you can hear like like chiggers and like all the bugs and stuff, and like them crunching on leaves on in the forest, and then they used that effect and it like took everything out, and I was just like, that's incredible. Like that would
Sometimes
have
you don't
been.
want that though, because you want that natural sound. But like, I mean, I understand. I do
Mhm,
understand. Like sometimes people want it, sometimes they don't. So
I get that. Is
yeah.
there a movie that you've seen recently, or just anything that comes to mind where you were watching it and you were just like, oh, why did you do that? Why? Like just some kind of strange mistake that you saw
I mean,
or
not
heard.
recently, but this is one of the funniest things I've ever experienced in my entire life. I've never watched the movie. I just had a friend show me it.
Mhm.
Like it was like one day before class, he like pulled me over and was like, "You got to see this." And I was like, "What?" And it's like Les Miserable.
Oh,
It's like
Les Mis.
yes, thank you. Oh my God, my Pennsylvania just came out so hard. Um, oops.
Oh
Uh,
no, you've
yeah.
revealed yourself.
Me and Dylan are from the same place and make all the same vocabulary mistakes. Um, uh, so this movie, there's a moment where an important person falls off of a bridge, and I think he dies. But when
Mhm.
he hits the water to die, it does not sound like water. It does not sound like bones breaking. It does not sound like a splash or a body hits a thing. It sounds like you took an orange and shoved it with a knife. But like a really bad orange, like it rotted, and then also that went into Play-Doh. So it almost sounds like a fart. Yeah, it's like it's just so unbelievably bad that it's like I watched it on repeat, on repeat, on repeat because I couldn't
Oh
stop
my
laughing.
gosh,
It's hilarious. It's so funny. Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
that's
Yeah,
incredible.
that's the worst one that I can think of off the top of my head. But
That is
recently,
so
no, I
funny.
haven't really seen anything or heard anything like bad, other than like all
Mhm.
these commercials using like phone audio. Because what
Like
else? Are you
Zoom
gonna
audio.
do? Yeah,
Oh man, that's probably gonna get old soon.
oh, it's already old.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm doing it now. I made a whole show out of it.
See, I'm the only audio engineer that you know probably that doesn't actually have like a microphone here. I have a shotgun, but I wasn't gonna
Mhm.
like hold that and be like, "Hi."
I did have like a hunch. I was like, "Ooh, I have an audio engineer. I wonder if she'll have like the crispiest audio out of all
Nope.
my guests." Oh my,
Sorry to be
that's okay.
disappointing.
How's mine? How's mine to the
It's
ears?
gorgeous. What is that mic?
It's a Shure SM7B.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I love this mic.
Yeah, it's great. Do you
Makes me
sing?
sound great. No, I tried to.
How'd it go?
Terribly.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sure it wasn't that bad.
No, I mean, I was in show choir in high school. That's about the only singing on stage I've ever done.
You were what? Okay, back up. Did you do like little cute dances and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
When I
You
remember it's just like,
6, 7, 8. Does that bring back like, is that traumatizing to you?
so I only did it for a semester actually, but I was also in theater and I was a theater kid, so I did some musical theater stuff. So I was like in West Side Story, and our director was not a musician by any means, so like the students had to direct us, and I just like went with like, oh, this sounds right or this feels right.
Yeah.
And, but the semester I did it, they had already like learned the dances and everything. They're like, we need you, and I was like, cool. So I came in at like last minute, and I had to like learn the whole show, and
Oh,
so I was like all by myself. They didn't do like the 5, 6, 7, 8 thing. They just like, all right, here we go, boom, here's start.
no.
So that was my life in high school, my senior year at least.
Even worse than I could ever imagine. Do you like musicals?
Oh, I love musicals. I think they're fun, unless it's Cats.
You don't like cats?
No,
I don't like any musicals, so I don't yeah, but I don't know the difference between them.
but between what?
Cats and any other musical.
I don't want to get into it, but Cats is like there's no. It's not even just like that. It's a musical. There's no story. There's no character development. There's nothing that makes like a good piece of art and good storytelling in Cats. It's just all random, and that's why a lot of people hate it.
Do you
The
like
music is okay.
is Phantom of the Opera a good one?
It's a classic if it's done right. Like there's a lot of like movies and stuff that have attempted it and it's not good.
My uh, musicianship teacher in high school hated Phantom of, like based every single thing that we did in musical theory off hating Phantom of the Opera. So I
Oh
have
my
it
gosh.
instilled in me that it is truly the bane of our existence as human life.
I've never was like, oh man, Phantom of the Opera. This is the bane of my existence. I was
Yeah,
just kind of like, hey, there's a I like ones that are like just fun and lighthearted. Like I helped out with like Grease after I graduated high school, and I was in West Side Story. Like those are fun and lighthearted. Like there's not like, the world's ending or like, oh man, death is so sad, death is upon us or whatever.
crazy. I watched like
Yeah.
I like opera, which is like
Hmm.
in a sense musical theater.
It it is,
It like
and it's
kind of
just something I've never gotten into.
yeah, opera's cool.
I'm, I need to look it up and listen to some opera.
Yeah, it's fun. It's very impressive, I guess.
Oh yeah,
Like the whole thing behind it is just like, how are you doing that? It's crazy. Like it's so
it
cool.
is crazy. So
Yeah.
you work for AEW, and I mean that's the title of the video, AEW audio producer. It seems like you're a huge fan of wrestling and everything. So how did that job come to be, and like how are you are where you are now?
This is kind of a long story, I guess, but I'll do one. Um it's okay. I'm gonna go back just because it does relate to right now because it's just like I feel like AEW specifically Jake the Snake Roberts is in my life for a reason. Um, uh,
Okay, I'm
so
interested.
when I graduated college, I basically had lined myself up for a wonderful apprenticeship. Essentially, possibly, you know, I had the possible chance to touch Broad City. And that was like the most insane thing to me. Like I was like, oh my God, this is the thing. And it kind of ended up falling through a little bit at the end there. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna go do this apprenticeship for this dude in this place in New York, and I'm gonna go move with my boyfriend, and it's gonna be amazing. And then my boyfriend kind of got really, really sick, and like really, really sick, like to the point where his head was like not gonna like come back from being sick. So I was like, cool, I'm
Jeez.
not gonna do that with you, and I'm gonna instead drop literally everything I've ever done in my entire life and moved to Los Angeles to become a dog walker. So um, that's what I did. And
Oh man.
yeah, it was rough for a second there. I just kind of like had to do some little soul searching and it was fine. I moved to LA, lived with my cousin for like a little while, and then I got a job at a post production house in Burbank, which I totally saw to be my big break as I was walking the stages, working alongside with the people who are mixing Modern Family, Better Call Saul, like huge,
Ooh.
huge names. Um, it was the most toxic thing that I've ever experienced in my entire life. Like I was like
What?
the Cinderella of the situation. I was supposed to be kind of like the loader of the sessions, and they brought me in there, and like I had to work. Like I got to work at like 7:30 in the morning, and then I wasn't allowed to get paid until like 10:30. But they forced me to get there at 7:30. So, and I was getting paid $12 an hour to like drive an hour back and forth from Burbank and like have no money except for like gas and maybe sometimes I could eat if the producers bought me food. But I was like, again, I was a driven child. Like I was like, I have to do this or else it's all for nothing. Like it was very much that mentality. And it got to the point where I was just like so broken at the end that I was like, I remember like scrubbing a wall on the side of the Foley studio on my hands and knees, just like crying, like full Cinderella. And this guy
Oh
walked in
man.
and he was like, where's the soundstage? And I'm like, it's that way. Like, and I previous to this, sorry, I really should have prefaced this with this. But previous to this, I had interned for a place called Trailer Park for a wonderful man named Mike Rodriguez, and he was very kind and taught me literally everything I know, and ended up letting me become a ghost sound effects editor and designer for a few TV shows called One was called Lucas Bros Moving Co. One was called Axe Cop. Major League.
Axe Cop. I
Yeah,
love that show.
yeah. I'm
Or at least when it was on the internet. I didn't watch the TV
so
version.
yeah. So all of these wonderful shows, I was like, setting myself up for graduating, and then like had that option, had the Broad City option, had all these options, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And all of those shows got canceled, and then I decided to not go to New York. So, but I didn't have those shows to go back to. So it was very much a like, oh my God, I understand what TV is moment. But there is an episode of Lucas Bros Moving Co. where the guys are trying to get their truck back, and Jake the Snake takes it, and they have a moving van, and they're like, Jake the Snake like takes it on one day, and they have to like find Jake the Snake to get it back. And they ended up doing a weird like wrestling match, but it's all like 8-bit animated. So I'm like, putting all these 8-bit punches in, and it's like very Mario. It's like Jake the Snake is some figment of somebody's imagination, but he's like still very excited and weird and there, and he's like huge. He's got this snake around him, and it's very cool and exciting. And that's how I know who Jake the Snake Roberts is, because of Lucas Bros Moving Go. And
that is hilarious. What a random show to be
yeah,
like, hey, Jake the Snake.
that was my first ever like realization, like that wrestling was still relevant, I guess. And even in a non-relevant show, it was kind of like, oh, okay. But anyway, fast forward to I'm working at this place after all these shows got canceled, and I didn't know where else to go. I found out that I was also very sick and moved, or I was home for a wedding in Pittsburgh, and found out that I was very, very sick, and I had to quit everything in order to go heal. So I did thus things and left LA and decided to never return. And once I got back to Pittsburgh and had to do the treatments and the surgeries and all that, once I was all ready to go, I was like, I should go to New York, like try it, like do something. We've all had those moments where we're like, should I go like try and pursue film here, this place that everyone seems to be successful? You see all these things where it's like, it's a possibility here. And I never in 1,000 years thought that Nashville would be a place where I would like actually stick to something and like land okay. Basically my best friend moved here a while back, like right after college. And she was like, yo, you should come here. Like you really should. I don't know what you're going to do, but like you should just come here and figure it out. And I was like, all right, man. And she just bought a house. So I lived in her house where I moved in, and just so happened to be, it's a very similar house to the Kind Punk house. Like it was like, there's a lot of people in it. Like, yeah. And I moved into the house, and the boy that lived in said house is now my partner of 3 years. So
Nice.
yeah, I literally met him by moving into that house. And about 2 weeks after I moved in, 2 weeks before I moved in, actually, I had an interview at this place doing educational videos for like music educational videos. I was like, oh, this is great. Like I could probably do this, but it's also a lot of recording. And I was like, oh no, drums. And it all came back to me. I was like, oh dang.
The nightmare-fueled drums haunt Christy to this day.
Yeah. And I was very honest about that. And I was like, I'm a post-production person. Like I know how to do anything that you want to do as long as it's already recorded. And they're like, okay, that's probably not going to work for us. And the guy that interviewed me called every place in Nashville that might do post-production and told them to hire me. And about a week and a half later, I was hungover on the 5th of July on my friend's couch in Cincinnati watching Moana, and I got a call from a man named Jay who worked for Impact Wrestling, and he asked me if I would like to come in for an interview. And the rest is history. I started working for Impact about 2.5 years ago, and I was embarrassed, like truly by just wrestling, not by Impact, but like Impact's amazing. But like embarrassed by just wrestling and how offensive it felt. Like I was like, this is weird. Like it just seems like everybody's being weird to each other. Like I just didn't get it. And then there's a guy named James Long who used to work for Impact, and he works for NXT now. He's wonderful. his wrestler name is Paradise. He was like a beautiful little drag queen in his wrestling garb. Would come into my mix room and yell sounds at me, just like pew and like all like make sound at me, literally. And then one day he was like,
That's how I want to communicate with everyone.
yeah, like yeah, it's crazy. It was really off-putting. I was like, what are you doing? So I was like, can you just give me an example like that's already been like created as a sound and not out of your mouth? And he was like, yeah, like in Dragon Ball Z, like whenever Shenron rises and all this stuff, I was like, I've never watched Dragon Ball and like anime or anything. And that day I went home and started Dragon Ball from the beginning, and I have now watched every single fucking episode of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z. I've watched almost every anime. Jimmy put me in this K-hole of anime that I have yet to come out of, and I could not be more grateful. Like, it was like, have you ever watched Glow?
I've seen like clips.
There's a moment where Debbie, the girl who's like the main soap opera lady, comes in to a wrestling show, and she's like, I don't really want to be in wrestling. Like
Alison Brie.
Yeah, that girl. She's like, I don't really want to be a wrestler. Like, I'm just a soap opera star and I'm pretty. And like, my husband's cheating on me with my best friend and this sucks. And like all this stuff. And like, her friends are trying to like cheer her up by like taking her to another, like they went to an indie show. And like, she has this moment where she realizes that it's a soap opera. And when I was watching the Tournament of Power in Dragon Ball, I had that moment and I was like, wrestling is real life anime. And then
it really is.
I loved it from that second on. Like, I was like, oh my God, I get it now. Like, I truly understand what's happening. And now it doesn't feel embarrassing. It feels like empowering when these girls are like beating the shit out of each other. And, Penelope Ford's doing flips and kissing Kip and all this stuff. Like, it feels so much like it's not something that's offensive. It's just very real and weird and fantasy. That's like just empowering in the weirdest way possible, if that makes sense. Yeah, wrestling has been just like such a whirlwind coming into, but I truly couldn't be. I wanted to be in animation, like of any kind, which I didn't really like anime. Like, I didn't know anything about it, like other than when I was a kid and watched Pokemon and Sailor Moon and stuff. But like, I just didn't like, that was like when I was a kid, I took like manga drawing classes when I was like in middle school, and I didn't even watch anime. I just wrote Harry Potter fan fictions and wanted to draw them. So I was like, that was like my reason behind wanting to learn manga and stuff. It was like, it was not even related in the slightest to anime, which was just odd. But then once I got back into it, it was like a really awakening, incredible experience. It's like my favorite genre of anything now. So
yeah, anime is cool. I've not dove into it a lot. Like, I've watched like pretty much all the big ones. Like I've seen like all of Naruto and Dragon Ball, One Piece.
What? You've seen all of One Piece?
Not all of One Piece. I think
that's 700 episodes.
I watched it when I was a kid, when it was like on Toonami.
Oh, okay, got it.
So I've seen like the early stuff.
I tried it recently, and it was not my drug of choice.
I liked how goofy it was. That's what.
Oh, it's very that, yeah.
So I was like, that's so funny. And I feel like I would be really annoyed by Luffy now, just because he like screams every line.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, he's like, wahoo! Yeah. Ready to be here.
And he's like smiling and just like, like every time. I find that fascinating. You said like wrestling is pretty much anime in real life, because I think that's such a great illustration, because there's a really good video by somebody I don't really respect, but it's a good video. Max Landis. He made a video called like Wrestling is Real or something like that. I can't remember. But he there's a really good line in that video. He says wrestling has more in common with Game of Thrones than UFC. And I think that's such a true statement. It's
Absolutely.
It's not really, it's a sport for sure. Like, those dudes have to be in the best shape that they possibly can be, and girls. They have to be in the best shape possible to do all those like flips and tricks and just get out there and do that every night. Like, that is a lot of work.
Yeah.
but there's a lot of story that goes into it. So
Mhm.
if you're just watching the matches and stuff, then it's probably like this is dumb. Why would I watch
Yeah,
this? But like the stuff that you make, that's the stuff that makes wrestling cool. Is all the backstory and everything.
I agree. I mean, and I love the matches. I do love the matches. Like there's an
Mhm.
indie show that comes through or used to come through Nashville before the tornado, and the pandemic. I think it's called like Southern Underground Pro is what y'all do, right?
Southern Honor Wrestling.
So
Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, Southern Underground Pro is the one that is in Nashville.
Nice.
Comes through Nashville, at least does pay-per-views quite a bit. I was like, it's Southern something, and I don't want to say the one that you guys do because it's not the same.
Mhm.
But Marco Stunt will come to the shows on occasion. His younger brother Logan would wrestle. Um, there was a lot of like it was just a lot of really like local to Nashville people. And the first thing that I did, other than getting a jumbo white claw at the Basement East, was go up to my best friend Chelsea. Their close friend from high school. His name is Parker. He knows everything about this promotion, so I would be like, all right, like that's cool and all. Like also this speakers in the Basement East were like blowing your face off and you're like, oh my god, let's go outside for a second so you can tell me what the hell is going on. Like I need to know why this tag team is together. I need to know why they're feuding with these people. I need to know, like why did that guy run in? Why is this dude like a death match wrestler? Like all, like definitely you have to ask the why questions or else you're not really going to enjoy what you're watching like to the fullest. So
I
that's
get you. What do you think? What, in your opinion, has like the best storyline right now in AEW?
it's a really hard question.
Yeah, no, there's a lot.
um,
I figure like out of all the editing you've done, you're like, I enjoy editing this storyline the most, or something like that.
I mean, honestly, like that's a different question because
Mhm.
anything that involves Jake and Lance Archer, specifically that one piece where they were in that backyard with that,
At Darby's.
is that where that was?
It wasn't like said it was at Darby's. I think it was filmed in his backyard. I don't remember.
I don't know either, but also anything that okay, Darby's my favorite guy wrestler, like other than
Nice.
Marco, because Marco's like my friend. But Darby is probably like my favorite. Like I don't know this person, but I love you. Like I just love everything about him. And I hated him in the beginning. I remember getting like the All Out promo or something, and it
Mhm.
just had a shot of him like falling off of a house onto a skateboard, and I was like, why is that in there? Who is this person? Like this is like everything about this is incredible, and then there's just this random black and white shot of this idiot falling off a house. Like what's going on? Like and now I'm just like I couldn't love me and my partner both. He has our favorite finisher. We love the coffin drop. So like he's just everything about him, like the way I also love the gif of him like flying out the ring onto Cody, and it's like
That's a good one.
the Twitter somebody tweeted it was like me when or like my dog when I get home, and I'm like that's it. Yeah, pretty much. And my dog is a 21-pound puggle, but girl, she can knock you to the ground. She's crazy. So
Jeez.
she's just very excited all the time. Her name's Lucille Bluth, and she embodies
Aw.
everything that Lucille Bluth is. Yeah, so yesterday she got a little bit too lit on Cinco de Cuatro. So, but anyway, I love doing all of the Archer Jake stuff.
Mhm.
It's beautiful. Like it's just everything about it is gorgeous. And I know Steve and Robert are so talented that it's like I just can't even believe that they're and Nathan and Dylan and all those people. But
Oh
like
yeah, they're incredible.
yeah, like I don't even know that I haven't gotten anything shopped by you. So also thank you. I mean everybody over there
Um,
come back and
the
DDP.
most recent thing you probably got from me was there was a Zoom call sketch thing where Tony Schiavone was running ideas through everyone, and then he gets mad and closes it. I
That's
shot Tony Schiavone.
one of my favorite things ever. I loved that
Really?
so much. Oh yeah, I made like our editor sit through the entire like our main senior editor Jim, who's a
Mhm.
literal angel and will do anything I ask. But he he was like very busy, like, you know, especially with all the shows coming in and going through post, like, oh my God, we have been balls to the wall over here in Nashville. Like it's just been crazy. But yeah, I like made him like stop what he was doing and I was like, you gotta watch this, dude. It's so funny. I love Cody screaming, I'm very interested in the sauce. That was my favorite part. Oh my God, it was incredible.
Yeah, it was hard for me to not laugh
Oh,
during that one because Tony, he's just such a cool guy, and for him to like not play that and
mhm.
to like just lose his cool and just get mad and shut it the computer, I was just like, this is gold. This is gonna
And
be
the
a good.
other Zoom call where is it a Zoom call?
I think they've all been Zoom calls. I guess that's their thing.
Oh, it's so funny. There was another one. Oh no, it wasn't. It was when Brandy comes in to that room with the whiteboard. That was like one of my dreams. Like I have two very stupid goals working for AEW. I want to visit the Kind Punk house and I want to visit that stupid room with the whiteboard. Those are my goals working for AEW. That's it.
So that um so quick disclaimer, I am not a huge wrestling fan, so I have not like kept up with AEW.
Yeah.
So I work for DDP Yoga.
Yeah.
Like I'm a video editor for them. And Nathan and Robert, shout out. Thank you for helping me get this job. I'm pretty sure that whiteboard might be at DDP Yoga in the conference room.
That
So,
makes sense. Like, yeah. I love that whiteboard. It's a
mhm.
great whiteboard. But that one where Tony's in there and then Brandy comes in and she's like talking to him and then Britt FaceTimes him and she's like, "Oh, who are you talking to?" And then Brandy walks in and she's like, "Hi," like, you know, cute little cameo.
Mhm.
And she's like, "Okay, bye," and then like hangs up and then texts and his he's doing a screen share to the big screen and Britt
Mhm.
starts texting him and is like, "La la la, Brandy." And then it's like she's like trash or something like that, like or something terrible like that. And then he goes, "Oh, you didn't need to see that." And then she's like, "Okay, well, yeah, you obviously have your hands full," like walks out. And then Britt's like he's like trying to figure out his technological things. It's like, how do you get it off the big screen? And she's like still texting him or whatever. And then he's like, "Oh, sweetie, like, please stop." Like, it's so funny. It's just, oh my God. Me and Jess were losing our minds watching it. Also,
That's so
shout out
funny.
Jess Colombo. She's like, not the newest, like she is officially AEW senior producer. Beautiful
Ooh.
lady. But you know, she's been
Wait,
shooting
Jess.
Tiny Jess.
Yeah, Jess is awesome. I
Yeah.
worked with her that one time I was in Atlanta shooting with her for
Mhm.
AEW. That was super fun.
Jess is yeah, truly like, oh my God, I just love her. The day that we were like, oh yeah, there's a girl named Jess who works for AEW and she shoots and she edits or whatever, and she's gonna send you some stuff. She usually does BTE, and I was like, oh okay. So then I like started talking to her through that, but it was like, oh, it's just this person that's sending me stuff through WeTransfer, like Nathan or you know. Well, I mean, I talk to those guys a lot more, so I was just like, okay. But then, you know, they were like, oh, Jess is gonna, for the Nashville show, she's gonna stay and work here for a little while. And then I was like, okay. And then I finally got to meet everybody that day, like Robert and Dylan and literally everybody. And then she was like, I think that, you know, or Kevin and them were like, okay, well, she's probably gonna end up, you know, working here in Nashville. And she lived in Connecticut at the time. So then she came down and it was like the first week she was here. I gave her a tour of East Nashville. I was like, you gotta live in East, like it's so amazing, it's all this, like, and we walked around Five Points and it was incredible, and we like took picklebacks at Red Door. It was like one of the best days ever. We had so much fun.
Oh,
And yeah, and it was like we were super fast friends, and like it's so incredible to have a woman, oh my God, like near you in the workplace. Like
mhm.
after working with just men for the past 3 years, I'm like, like it's just like such a beautiful experience to have her like at AEW with us, and specifically in Nashville with us. Like it's like, oh my God, thank you.
Yeah, I bet. Not saying like, oh man, a woman, but
Yeah.
whenever I heard like Jess, I was like, she's a senior producer. I
Oh,
immediately was like, that's awesome. And
mhm.
the fact that she's like tiny and made it even better.
Yep. She wears heels to work even in the pandemic. Sometimes she doesn't, and then she's like,
That's so
"Sorry,
funny.
guys, I'm extra small today."
Extra small.
She like apologizes for it. She's such a bad bitch though. She's like, I'm so inspired by her. She's like,
Mhm.
she's just done so much with her career and her life, and she's awesome. So I'm very happy that she's with AEW with us. So honestly, everybody I work with, I couldn't love them more. So it's really, we're very lucky. Like AEW is a really big, cool, just everybody, like I saw some tweets or whatever that's like, it just feels like, especially the quarantine shows, it feels like it's a room full of friends dicking around, and that's literally what it is. So like in like the best way possible. So
Yeah, and some of the quarantine stuff has been some of y'all's biggest hits, I think, just because of
yeah,
uh,
Brody
like
Lee,
the situation.
Matt Hardy reveal was like one of the most built up things ever. When I got the Brody Lee thing, that was also one of my favorite things I've ever done. I didn't know who Brody Lee was. I didn't know who the Exalted One was until the day it happened. When I got the actual piece to reveal him,
Whoa.
when he took off the hood and shit.
Mhm.
I got it and I didn't like it. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like it. It was the music. I didn't like the music, so I just gutted it and then had just the voice, and then that was it. And then because Kevin didn't like it either, we were like, "There's something weird here. There's something wrong, like
Mhm.
just weird, whatever." And then, yeah, I just replaced it all with like I approached it similarly to. There's an Apple show called like Servant or something like that. It's on the Apple like streaming program or whatever. And there's a lot, they utilize silence really well. And I
Mhm.
wanted to do that with and like I am also very inspired by like A24 films in general. Like they're just all beautifully designed and wonderful. So they're beautiful films. So
Yeah.
I like to find the dips and find the things like you don't need to have music for something to be dramatic. So you can use like different things like drones and booms and birds and snakes. But things like that. Like, I mean, I just wanted to make it like after the fact, and then I asked him to he changed a few things. We just kind of like gave it back. We worked off each other, which is very impossible to do. Like I would do something and then give it back to him, and then he would change something and give it back to me, and then I would change something and give it back to him. And it was very weird. It was the most strange workflow I've ever experienced in my life, but it was very worth it. It was also delivered like 30 minutes before the show. So
Oh my God.
yeah, it was scary because it was such a huge moment, you know what I mean? So it was
Mhm.
it was a scary day. That was definitely like a day that I was like, I'm not watching the show here. Y'all have fun. I'm gonna go drink beer. So and watch it in my living room. So
So you work in a pretty high stress environment, it sounds like. I know you guys like are like I've seen the way your workflow and or not yours specifically, but everyone's, and you guys seem like chill people, like you're not like down each other's throats, but it's also very stressful because, you guys are working for television.
Mhm.
So what would your advice be to people that kind of intimidates them to work in an environment like that?
This is gonna sound weird, but the ability to read another person's mind has been the biggest lifesaver that I've not literally, obviously, but like reading the room, like
Mhm.
understanding the social cue of what you can and cannot do in that moment, and being able to anticipate your coworkers' needs and moves. Specifically, my boss, again, Kevin is like literally like I've just all of my stress and like trauma for working for terrible people has been healed by him because he's extremely encouraging in a weird way. Like I mean, like if you are on our floor at our building, like of our 3 to 5 rooms that we have, like fuck is like said every other word. But it's like it's like almost calming. Like I don't know how to describe it. We do yell at each other, but it's like that's when you know you're excited. Like it's an excited yell. It's not a like mean thing ever. But like being able to anticipate or like read, what the other person's saying, getting to know the people you work with is so important because like even if I'm texting, like I text Dylan about his dog all the time. Like I just really like dogs, but and like keeping things light also. So This is another really weird thing, but like every single time I send something to Dylan or Robert, I send them this meme of a cat that's really fat and it just says, "Oh Lord, he coming." So
Oh Lord, he come.
you look in Robert's phone and you press the I button in our conversation, it's like hundreds of this meme because we just send it back and forth to each other every time we send something that we know we need. So it's like things like that where it's like just lighthearted and like even if it's like 10 minutes before the show, you bet you get in the "Oh Lord, he coming" picture. So it's kind of one of those things that's just like you got to know the people you're with, like you got to know what they need, like being in the business like long enough to, and like not long enough, even like smart enough, being behind somebody where it's like you kind of like are at least asking general questions about like, so for example, like time code and stuff like that. Like with our main editor, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to write in the time code so it's easier for you. Like anticipate what they need and you will work fine. So that's like one of those things that you just kind of, that's more important, I think, than being good at what you're doing. Truly.
That's a really interesting take. Do you think it's important to, like, was there a moment that you figured that out? Like, this is way more important.
Yeah. I mean, Impact was like my first audio job that I was like
Mhm.
trusted to sit down at Pro Tools and make a TV show. Kevin doesn't speak in correct English all the time. Like, I mean, of course he does. Like, he's literally like a native English speaker from California. Like, he's just like he says stuff, but he doesn't mean it. Like, it's like he'll refer to something as something else, but you kind of just like for a while I was very confused that he would be like, "Hey, can you get me this like I need their voices from this thing from this day," but like he meant a different, like instead of the announcer's voice, he meant like the people in the ring talking, but he like said announcers, but like or like said something like that, like either announcers or voices or like the VO. And I was like, yeah. And then I gave him that, and then he was like, "That's not what I asked you for." And I'm like, uh-huh. And then going into the room, looking at what they're doing and being like, oh, it's a close-up shot of like this person's face in the ring, like, about to punch a girl or something. Like, give him both. Like, give them options. Like, be like, "Hi, I know this is what you asked for, but like in case you were confused, like here's two things." So one of them is going to be right, one of them is going to be useless, but the easiest thing is just press delete and then you're on with your day. So it's kind of like I started to learn like what he needed, so that I was never wasting anybody's time, or he wasn't wasting anybody's time by not saying the right thing. So it's just a really weird hidden language that we all learn from each other. And I mean, that's not the same thing in every environment. I know we're unique, but there's four people, in between, four people in Nashville and like four people in Atlanta making a giant, insane wrestling show. Like, that's ridiculous just to have that little of, a crew doing this thing. You kind of got to be on the same page. And Steve was the same way, I'm sure, in the beginning, talking to Sully, being like, "What is this man talking about?" Like, I mean, they talk all the time. He'll literally come in from like the gym in the morning and they're just like still on the phone. And you look at his like phone when he puts it down on speaker and it's like you see the time and it's like 1 hour, 25 minutes.
Oh my God.
They're like best friends. It's so cute. But yeah, kind of just getting to know the people that you're with and like their language. Like every couple has a love language. Every person has the way they wanted to be like loved or, and that kind of thing. It relates the same within your coworker situation. Like you got to know how to talk to people and how they want to be talked to is the most efficient way of getting shit done. And you have no option in this environment other than to do that. So it's very important.
That's really fascinating. One of the first lessons that like Nathan taught me whenever I moved here, and this is something. I mean, I come from a very southern home, so like kindness was just like I'm from the same place Nathan and Robert are from, Cleveland, Tennessee.
Oh, okay, I was like,
right outside Chattanooga.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, so fun.
Yeah. But yeah, Nathan, he was like, dude, he said people would rather have somebody that is kind and nice, like on set, than somebody who's just the best at what they do. Because if they have to pick between the two, like, oh, this guy is okay, he gets the job done, but he's way better at just to hang out with than this guy who's just like a prick, but he's like phenomenal at what he does. So I feel like that's kind of the same environment kind of feel for
Yeah.
AEW.
Negativity is a virus in itself. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
you have a person like that on set specifically. I don't have much on set experience in my life, like student films. And then I was the music playback for a music video recently. That was fun. I walked around with a computer and an amp. It was just like button. That was it. It was awesome.
Audio producer.
It was a fun day. I just hung out and laid on the floor a lot. It was, but
Laid on the floor. You're not supposed to do that on set.
oh, I missed that you were much encouraged. It was fun. John Oates was there. I rolled a joint for this guy, and he smoked it in the thing. It was a weird day. Anyway, yeah, negativity is totally like something you do not want that. You're inviting in something that will spread from person to person, and that's not efficient at all. So, like,
I've told this story many times on the show, but I used to work in an IT place before I moved here, and I won't get into it because I've told this story like 10 different times. But Nathan like called me and was just like, "Hey man, I want you to move in this house like with me. I want to mentor you and help you and everything." And I was like, I freaking hate my life. Like, well, technically, okay, sorry. I called Nathan first. I was like, hey, I hate this. Like, I hate going into work. I hate sitting at a desk. Like, I want to do what you do. Like, how do I do that? And then a few months later, Nathan called me and he was like, hey, I'm going to buy this house. I want you to move in. I want to help you. And that's how I'm here. But at this IT place, it would have been so much better if everybody just had a better attitude. Like, I was miserable there because every day I went there, I did something wrong, and everybody had to be like, "Yo, Trevor, look how dumb he is." And
mhm,
I am not a dumb person. I just like messed up because I was like, I hate being here.
mhm. Yeah, and you slip up so much easier when it's like that. And then the slip ups fall and the slip ups.
Mhm.
It's like a big giant snowball of self-hatred. I think we've all been there, especially like working in this industry. This like, if you're in a bad environment, it's gonna breed more people that are gonna breed more of a bad environment. And that's why Hollywood sucks.
That's why Atlanta is booming.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
Atlanta's full of cool people. Like, truly, I like one of my best friends I met in the back row of my cycling class. She was like, I was like, girl, why don't you have an unlimited membership? You paying all this money to come here, and like, you're here all the time. And she's like, I don't live here. I live in Atlanta. And I was like, why are you here? And she's like, I don't know.
What in the world? That's crazy.
She just visits like randomly, and then and then I found out really who she was, and I was like, oh my god. Her name's Morgan Swank. She wrote for American Horror Story and SNL,
What?
all these things. She runs her own little production company called Moonscar Productions, and I am a part of it as well. And
No
yeah,
way.
yeah, it's a really like
So,
after meeting her, I mean, it's just like kind of one of those things where I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. There's a term that I coined in my spin classes that I did not mean to at all. It was just something that came out of my mouth one day. At the end of my classes, I say, take a big breath in and grab a hold of all that badass bitchery you just created. Exhale, let it go. Have a great day, whatever. And badass bitchery became this huge movement of things and people that like were being unapologetic about what they were doing and what made them happy. And that like she kind of just like was everything that embodied that. And I was like, oh my god, like of course I'm a huge empath and I just love people in general. I was very like, it was like a magnet. Her and I just became very close friends, and she's also very beautiful, so that helps. But yeah, she like after I got to know her, I found out like who she really was, and that was kind of one of those things where I was like, oh my god, this girl is like really successful. And I don't know, just and she recently met her new boyfriend because he's a huge fan of AEW. That was like the craziest
wow.
thing to me. Yeah, and now they're like so in love. It's so cute.
How cute. And you guys started a production company together?
She started the production company with her friend Blair,
Hmm.
and then I was just kind of like, I'm just kind of like the tag along.
The third wheel. No, I'm kidding.
Walks around with the computer at the music video shoots and press plays and rolls
uh,
that need to be rolled. So I just like to be involved with the thing. But she like wants me in it, but she, like it's a very women centric thing. We like, always hiring like non-male people, like women of color, just trying to get more female voices in the community. Because I mean, look around, one of those things where it's like every job I've ever had has been like 90% white dudes. So, but
yeah, why do you think that's important to do?
These people, like, they have shit to say, and like, they're not going to get the chance to get heard unless somebody gives them the money to do that. So Morgan gets the money to do that and gives it to them. So that's really her. She's a funder. She loves to give money to people to make their voices heard in the way that they haven't been able to before. And the more voices that, we can see and like see their stories, the more we can relate to those people and hopefully make a little bit of a unity within people in general. So it's important to hear everybody's story, truly, especially all the crazy ones and the sad ones and the rough ones, so that we can prevent history from repeating itself, hopefully.
Yeah, that's rad, because Hollywood's been exclusive for such a long time, and even some production companies here in Atlanta. So the fact that you guys are doing that is amazing. So hats off to you.
Thank you. It's wonderful. She's incredible. Follow Morgan Swank at Morgan Swank on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, baby. So, Christy, we're nearing the end of the show, sad face, but you wanted to talk to me about the Kind Punk House. What did you want to know?
Okay. Can I be Michaela's best friend?
Yeah, she's awesome. She would love you.
Oh, great. Cool. I saw the video. There's like the lyric video of her like washing her hands and her nails look so good. And I've been thinking about that literally every night for like the past.
That's hilarious.
And I can't go get my nails done right now. And I'm bad at painting my nails. So it's like, oh my God, she would be my friend and paint my nails for me.
She totally would. She needs more girlfriends.
And
live with 5 dudes.
Exactly. Yeah, I get it. But that's how I felt when Jess came in, and I was like, a lady, this is so but do you guys live on like a giant piece of land? There seems to be a lot of trees.
No. So we live in a very suburban neighborhood. So just picture a very basic suburban neighborhood, and we live on a medium-sized hill. It like slants up very harshly. So that's kind of the place that we live in.
That's cool.
I guess our lenses and stuff make our area look bigger. I don't know.
That makes sense. Like, do you guys have the trampoline, or do you go somewhere for the trampoline?
We have 2 trampolines in our backyard.
Okay, cool. Do all of you have wrestling training, or just Nathan?
I don't even think Nathan has wrestling training. He just does it on his own.
That's he needs to figure that out. I'm gonna text him after this, like, why aren't you training? Like, oh my God, I'm just worried for his little back. Okay.
Why?
Because people know how to fall, and then like if he doesn't know how to fall, is he gonna be okay?
I mean, to my knowledge, I think Nathan is the biggest wrestling fan of all time. I don't know if anyone could ever beat him.
Yeah.
So I think he's probably watched tons of wrestling, and he wants to be a deathmatch wrestler. That's like one of his goals. So I'm sure he knows plenty.
He worries me. He's such a wonderful baby. He's such
great.
Yeah. Okay. And then all of like the stuff that you guys do, is that kind of like, do you just wake up one day and be like, I want to do this. I want to make a coffee brand. I'm going to do that today.
So Nathan gets all of his ideas just at any random moment of the day. If you look at his iPhone, he's got just notes on notes on notes on notes on notes of just ideas. So like still on that phone are thousands of ideas he's never even done. And I don't know if I'm sure he'll do a lot of them. But for me, like
mind, or you're the mind, or
do what?
Would you say he is the mind of it?
For his videos, like we all have our own separate videos. So whoever comes up with it and like, directs it or edits it, whatever, that's usually their video. So everything that I've ever posted, that's usually like, hey, this is my video. So like everything Nathan makes is his. Everything Robert has posted is his.
Yeah.
Do what?
It's important to have the ownership in that boundary there.
Yeah.
So very good. Do you edit in Premiere?
Yes.
Cool. If you ever want anyone to mix your stuff, I
You
think
would do that?
yeah.
Because I'm bad at it.
I would love to. Oh my God. I remember truly like I love like seeing stuff and just hitting somebody up and be like, would you let me do that, please? Like the Librarians vignette, whenever Steve put that out, Kevin and I were watching it losing our minds. Like literally, I texted him and was like, Steve, I have to do it. Like, how do I convince you to let me do this? And he was like, you work for AEW. Mix it there. Like, I'm so confused as to why you wouldn't mix it. I'm like, but you don't get it. Like, I just need to do it. And he's like, it was like, I love mixing. It's great. So
would you be interested? So I have a documentary that I have not started on yet. It's like short, 10, 15 minutes. I shot it about my friend Adam. He is a professional Lego animator, and it's a really cool story. So you might be interested in that.
I would love that. Oh my God, I would love that. I love Legos. Our graphics editor, or boy, he is the biggest Lego fan in the entire world. Sorry, Ben, I don't mean to shout your interest from the rooftop, but like whenever
How dare you give him praise on my show?
Yeah, we used to go to, like the outlet mall for lunch sometimes because there's a Chili's there and they had 2-for-1s. And Ben doesn't drink, so he would go like while we were waiting for food, he would order and then he would go to the Lego store and get like Legos and come back, and then we would just be like, "So, what'd you get?" Like it was like every time. So we're just drinking.
That's so
like,
awesome.
Getting Legos. Yeah.
What did you get? That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was fucking cute, Ben. Like, cool. Go show your dog.
That's so awesome. But the cool thing with this documentary is like Adam isn't just like some dude that's in his mom's basement making Legos. Like he's legit made videos for Lego, like for actual like the Lego YouTube channel and everything. He just put out a new commercial, but he's done like Star Wars, and he did one commercial for Barnes and Noble for their Harry Potter sets. That was a really cool one.
Oh my God, I would love nothing more. That sounds incredible. Oh my God, this sounds amazing.
But let me finish it and I'll send it to you and see if you're interested.
Yes, please. Please. Very please. I would love that. Yay. See,
that's so hard because
happen.
Live on the show. I just realized we're live.
Oops.
But Christy, thank you so much for coming. This was so fun. Like I'd love to have you on. I feel like I haven't even heard half of your stories. So
I'll just come to the Kind Punk house. Me and Jess have had plotted our lives. We're just gonna show up there one day with tents, and you're gonna be like, how the fuck do we get these bitches to leave? So that's
that we would love nothing more. You ladies would be amazing to have over.
Thank you.
Tell Jess to be on the show, please.
Yes. Oh my God, I will. She's great. She's wonderful. She's very Italian. Just warning you.
I've met her.
Oh yeah. Duh.
Cool. Christy, thank you so much. And thank you everybody for watching. Please follow Christy. Christy, what's your tags?
Instagram, I'm most active. I meant to change my Twitter because I change it all the time, but right now it's currently at boy butts only. I know that's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard in your life. And then my Instagram's at Christy McConville, KRISTYMCCONVILLE. And that's that.
Instagram's for the professionals, Twitter's for the butts.
Yes, exactly. I would be astounded at the amount of gay porn I am tagged in. Oh
my God. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and go watch some AEW. You'll hear Christy's fine work. It's great. So have a blessed day, everybody.
Bless.
Where's my mouse? There it is.